to get it on. That's a beautiful round to finish us off.
Is only too happy to apply, and the trailing edge layout. Here's Baker, blading one down the line. It's floaty, and Wilson, I thought, maybe devilish low inside flick. And then continuation, the high release backhand.
And inside to O'Shea Fleming, 6 over the top. Proving he can go good on both sides, but Ty Logan Carey be a bit too ambitious, but pace to return on the Jets. Layout score, yes please.
Hello and welcome back to Ghent here in the Open Division. We've got KFK starting on defense against Bad Skid, and I am Francis Dieterle. I will be shortly joined by the man himself, Step Rapazzo. But here we've got Nico Mueller taking an immediate deep shot to Holger. Holger jumps up easily and takes that one down.
And Holger goes back to Steph Doscher. Holger in that corner, quick back to Steph, and Doscher puts one on the scoreboard quick and easy. Bad Skid's first possession, a pretty good one. They're getting fired up. They've been pretty good this weekend.
Now, Bad Skid so far undefeated. They have taken down the likes of AUC Frisbees, as we saw in the live stream yesterday, and Aarhus in their pool. And I believe that they won their final game against Gentle yesterday, 15-11. So their game against AUC was pretty close, 15-13, but so far they've remained untouchable. Yeah. KFK, as we know, bringing in a lot of Americans from Carleton. We've got 6 of them studying abroad for this club. And they've been integrating and making some plays. An important part for this Copenhagen side.
Here comes KFK. Sverka to Young. And that's Furman. Blanco gets some meters. Straight back to Furman. And now Graham. Furman to Young. Young. Nice hands, the landing spot, where his toes dragging or not. Let's see if we get another look at this one. I thought out is my initial impression. I would love to see it again.
Toby Hela making the call.
I thought the feet were up there. That's my opinion of that one.
Yep. Holger seems to agree with you, Steph.
Yeah. It's not what I say. You guys can have a look for yourselves. That is my opinion. But these guys, of course, we always make our friends when there is a play to replay. Here's one more look.
From the angle that we've got there, it's sort of hard to tell.
It is very tough. Maybe those feet were still down. It's not so cut and dry. There's the gainer. Furman gets a disc. Jams one into the hole. Miller in that same jam hole. Now spins one over. Graham facing the front, turns to his dump. Back to front, breaks around, floats, floats, floats. And Furman can't collect, and Bad Skid gobble up. Bad skid. Chance. Gets the under. Haga. And that one goes too far. Now a short field for KFK.
Bad Skid's D-line also displayed some difficulty converting yesterday.
Good defense there. Great defense to take away the corner and forced a break throw that just didn't work. Dasha. Throws to the far side. Now Shantz. And that one bounces off the hand. And a little bit of sloppiness in this play here. Sveka. Sees two options, zips it in, and the bailout's there. Lucky stuff. Bastian Graham goes to ground and picks up the pieces.
Back and forth point from both sides. Either side really displaying in great offense. KFK eventually putting in just through gritting the disc. And you see the repeat right here. That is through the hands of, it looked like two people before KFK was able to miraculously pull that off the ground. So Bad Skid yesterday having a lot of success with their set plays, especially with their big stars. You can see that these World Games players, Müller, Holger Boyden-Müller, initially on the World Games team, did not play due to injury, but we see his brother Michael as well playing. And we see Stefan Duscher, of course, making big plays as well.
Bad Skid O-line, Nico Mueller, and you saw Doscher going deep. That is always dangerous. Hartman to Reinert. Holger Boyden-Müller comes under and goes to Nico Mueller. He's put it straight away. Hartman on the chase. Bid in front is just enough and gets a little piece of it. There's a pick being called. And the D-getter here taking a little break, shaking up on the play.
Good defense from Bad Skid, or from KFK rather, but it looks like that is an injury. Looks like the KFK sideline is still grouping around this player. Let's hope that he's okay.
Yeah, most certainly. Always the hope. It's a heck of a play. And makes it more difficult to have the discussion when there's an injury, I find. As for when if there was contact, if it was all clean. But all that stuff has to be taken out of mind and just call it like you see it, call it like you felt it, call it the way it is, despite any other outcomes.
Really was an excellent play A lot of discussion from KFK and Badskid about the positioning or probably where the disc should end up. I think there was that pick called earlier. Well, what's at stake right here is, of course, a bid to EUCF. Seems like KFK is eager to get this. Here we see a little replay. Badskid offense.
So, explain that, a bid to EUCF here.
I believe that through this power pool, if the game is won, then that's an easier matchup in the next game. I think all of these teams are going to play another game. So that if you come out the winner of the power pool, you'll have an easier matchup for your game to go.
Yeah, and so there'll be 3 games to go.
All at the same time.
Yeah, and then a final last position place or a final game to go, which we'll be streaming that in place of the 1-2 game, because we will have seen the 1 and the 2 teams play by that stage. They will have qualified, and we will go to where the drama remains in the qualifying series and follow the games that still have meaning left. As far as qualifying, this is a regional qualifying tournament.
Yeah, that 5-6 game is going to be a battle. Badskid actually recovering the disc for whatever reason after a long discussion.
Not sure how either, but it's back in the hands of Reinert. Now, Nico Mula to Steph Dasha. Dasha goes lefty inside to Hartmann. Holger Beutenmuller gives a cut. Fakes going back around the other way. Shovel pass through to Reinert. Holger working, and that one gets away from the big fella.
Slight breeze coming here. I think that is affecting it. You saw that on Duscher's pass, pop pass to the center of the field. It floated a bit. That one from Holger just too high. Now you can see it catch a little bit of breeze under the edge of the disc, and it floats away.
KFK. Wind up, that may never come in. I don't see the angle over a tent. Oh, yes it will. And Dasha gets the first touch. There was a mass of bodies underneath that one. Steph read it best. There's the under from Obert. Ooh, big dangerous cross, but he gets it to Beutenmuller. Hartmann winds up, sticks it. Dasher on the chase. Not a perfect throw, but it is Steph Dasher. But that time, 2 defenders sealed him off.
As much as Steph Duscher is worth quite a bit, I don't think the 2 defenders in the area are going to undo any of that. Badskid looking sort of frantic on their offensive possessions. It seems like they're trying to finish everything faster. They're not displaying the confidence and the calm that they had yesterday when they were playing Frisbees, or against Gentle for that matter.
KFK here to play. That first under comes from Graham and straight back into the handling space. Ah, that one gets away. Super short field. Dasher quick to pick it up. Holger, Beutenmuller. Steph Dasher gives the first cut, and he just keeps going. There was certainly a pick happening there.
KFK with an odd turnover on their reset. I think that it was Leo Shao who was cutting for the dump, just looked completely flummoxed by his thrower. Why'd you choose that, man? I'm right here.
Holger. Floats one over top. Hartmann. Looked to go wide, then just chucked one back to Holger Boydenmuller in the dump space. Boydenmuller floats one over, toe down to his brother, and the Boydenmullers connect there and put one more on the board for Bad Skid.
Slight variation. Normally Bad Skid loves that triangle offense where they're giving and going between the front of the stack and the two handlers. But Michael Boydenmuller able to fill the space after the final isolation doesn't work out. Duscher coming from that isolation. Someone, the front of the stack breaking away, and then Michael Boydenmuller filling that inside space, towing the line. Good grab. So far, KFK have been putting on a decent amount of pressure defensively, but their offense, again, does not look very crisp, especially on the defensive end. I think on both sides, they're struggling a little bit. I think that that's what it's going to be. The first team that can go on a little bit of a run here, in my opinion, will be taking this game.
Run for the hills. Okay, I won't finish my Iron Maiden. Run for the hills. But we do want to see a run. Let's see who's got it in them first. That one towed down by Graham. And now Miller. Far sideline, Furman. Tries to get meters and loses possession. The Bad Skid crowbar being touted up and down the sideline. That one to Hedde. Oh, but too far in front. And KFK get another chance. Miller to pick up. Gets the gainer. Flipper over top. That one lands into the hands of Young. And KFK find a way to hold.
Not sure if Herrera is getting the wallers on that point, but he did throw the turnover. Looks like the professor needs to go back to the lab on that one.
Back into the laboratory.
But again, KFK not able to find a steady pace on offense. It seems like they're crumbling, or they're at least bending beneath the pressure that Bad Skid is giving them. You see this little flip over the top, the scuba. Young collecting that because he's in acres of open space, or hectares, I suppose we should say here. Let's see if KFK can put some pressure on them. We're chatting with Ravi X-Ray Specs Vasudevan yesterday, and he says that while Bad Skid has remained untouched, Wall City is probably going, what in his opinion is going to be winning that matchup if they face off here, simply because of their defensive prowess.
Oh, Ravi, he thinks he knows it all. Does he? But does he? Nico Mueller to Doscher, and it's going to work. That is quick and efficient offense for Bad Skid. Nico Mueller to Steph Doscher. Sometimes it's just that easy.
And that is the connection that was on fire yesterday. All the connections with Nico Mueller were on fire. But those stars for Bad Skid definitely look like they are hungry. Last year, of course, Bad Skid falling in the German National Championship, not even making it to the final, which was won by Wall City versus Heidi's. So you see Mueller showing off his backhand again to Duscher. But Bad Skid are ready. They're looking fierce, and they're hoping to regain their German crown. I believe next week is the German National Championship, so they've got all the pieces clicking so far.
Yeah, both German teams here, both. There's more than just the two of them. But the top two German teams here looking the goods. I think they've been better than everybody without much pushback. I still think that's going to be a heck of a game. We may not stream it. Almost certainly will not stream the 1v1 game at the end of this one. but it's going to be a cracker and a preview to the German Championship. Here's a battle. Pellegrini trying to find his way around, but it's Hiller who smacks it away and gives Bad Skid a defensive opportunity.
Again, KFK just looking like they don't really they haven't figured out their offense. They saw a couple of open people, but Hiller is big, and that throw floated for about 2 minutes before it came back to earth.
And another turn.
KFK take it right back.
Zipped up the line. Miller hangs on. Hartman agrees, says, yeah, that one's up. Miller centers. Parker. Chuck Parker throws the backhand to Pellegrini, and KFK level things. 3 apiece here. 47 minutes remain.
Schanz just overcommitting on the mark. Left the break side wide open. This is the thing, for Bad Skid's D-line offense, what they need to do is they need to just get the first couple of passes off to find some flow. If you throw a first throw turnover on every chance that you get the disc, that's just going to be completely deflating. KFK, I don't think that they've put in a clean hold yet, but it doesn't really matter since the Bad Skid D-line hasn't been able to find any rhythm. Yeah, Schanz trying to recover on the mark. It looked like he'd poached off to try and seal the break side. But unfortunately, a little far over to the live side and leaves KFK wide open for Pellegrini. Xiao with a big pull. That looks pretty nice.
That's got some hang time on it. Mueller up line. He finds Hartman in the middle. Quick dish to Mueller, and nice movement here by Bad Skid. Lefty push pass. That's almost like a shovel force push by Doscher. Boyd Mueller to Mueller. Doscher milks it in, and Bad Skid are scoring with a fair bit of ease.
Lethal efficiency from Bad Skid. Again, using their stars to great effect. Nice around throw from Mueller. He's got such good fundamentals. His control over that flick is just a thing of beauty.
Yeah, you should run.
Bad Skid maybe going to come out in that zone that we saw on the previous point.
Loops one over Furman. And now into the hands of Graham. Sveka. Hammer, Parker under it, that one works. And Graham, an instant sensation. Instagram hammer there.
That was an excellent hammer. That's the sort of excitement that we want to see.
Chuck Parker, all he had to do was open up the basket and let it fall in.
What do we think of that spike, Steph?
Oh, I got to watch it again. I kind of turned away for spike time, I think.
We'll dedicate it to Rachel Soshnerova in any case.
Well, it was a hard spike then. This is an American spike. Oh yeah, that's 2 out of 10.
A 2 out of 10.
Too hard, disc damage. If you get a spike that hard, it has to land super flat, or else you're disc damaging, and though your marks will plummet via me.
Fair enough. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10, but for different reasons. I think that that's the thrower's spike to spike, because the receiver didn't do anything. That was all on the thrower.
So you got to run that one back. If that was the exact same spike, but it was handed off to Graham, you would have got
8 out of 10.
8 out of, oh my goodness.
But looks like KFK actually found a clean hold for the first time. Maybe they need to be a little bit more creative with their throws to get around that bad skid defense.
It's all tied up here. We're on serve. KFK are doing what they need to do to hang with bad skid, who have been stronger throughout this tournament, we'll say, so far. Hartman. To Holger Boytenmuller. Mueller and Doscher was just way too open, remains way too open, and that was a thing of beauty. Steph Doscher has to be played from behind. He's getting open deep way too frequently, and yes, I know he's good and cuts in to find those deep spaces, but it has to be double accounted for right now.
Absolutely. Miller getting an absolute lesson there, trying to defend Nico Mueller, seeing what the quality of a World Games level player is, and just, yeah, trying to chase Mueller around, pushed him to the break side like you would want, but then Mueller's forehand in the end was just too much, and of course, he can't miss Duscher when there's that much space around him.
Easy to throw to open cutters.
Hela directing his D-line, saying, hey guys, we're getting turns. Maybe we should get one of those and then score after that.
Then we would know what a break tastes like. Pull lands in the hands of Furman, and he goes to Sverka before it's stripped away. Heda. Apologetic. Sverka to Young. He looks back to Sverka. And Young again, those two back and forth before it's shared to Graham. Furman to Declan Miller. Miller finds Furman. Jams one into the jam hole for Miller. Miller inside throw, gets Furman. Graham goes hammer. Just enough on it, needed the play, got one. And a beautiful pickup there for Fernando Blanco. And KFK get a nice goal to level things back at 5.
I think that KFK has found the solution. More hammers. More hammers means more consistency. But a good point. Miller showing off some of his throws as well. Getting caught up on that sideline, but he had a nice inside to break it off. And then we see the finishing hammer to Blanco from Bastian Graham. The Argentines celebrating. I'm sure a more acceptable celebration to some. No spike on the end of it.
Hello to all of you back home watching. Thanks for being with us. Yes, I'm going to prompt you to do the things that we love you doing. Go ahead, like and subscribe, and become a patron. Go to ULTI.TV. Show your patronage, show your willingness to be part of our community, and by being a part of it, you're certainly helping us out. When I say us, I mean you too, because you're part of us. You're helping us, the collective. Nico Muller. He goes backwards. Olbert gets the gainer. Holger Boytenmuller. Boytenmuller had too many there. Nico Muller robs one from Hartman and then still bumps into him. Nico Muller, Doscher was covered up this time. Hartman. Hartman goes to Boytenmuller. And toes down Boytenmuller with the goal. That's Michael Boytenmuller. And they dictate pace. It's 6-5 for the bad kids.
The Boyton brothers getting it done on that point. Bad Skid kind of, I guess what you could call a classically organized team. They have a lot of their big stars on that O-line to relieve the pressure on their D-line, meaning that they're trying to score with high efficiency, and we just see that it works out perfectly there. And it looks like we have a timeout on the field, so we are going to take a timeout ourselves. We'll see you in a minute after these messages.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
Oh my, somehow they do it!
KFK with the disc. Down one, but on serve. Miller didn't like the first look, and I wouldn't have thrown that either with Doscher there waiting and hunting downfield. Miller. He goes to Graham. Miller gives another look in the backfield. Miller to Furman. Furman gets Miller again. Now the under from Pellegrini. Pellegrini back to Miller. KFK moved to the midfield with ease, and now they're bouncing off sidelines, trying to find a cleaner way through. They shoot deep. Graham is under it and gets two hands to it before Steph Doscher can wreck the party. KFK managed to stay on serve, 6 apiece.
Risky throw with Doscher coming in fast, but KFK managed to hold on that. I really thought that that was some of the best pressure that Bad Skid has put up until now. They were even trying to load that line up. They got Nico Müller and Duscher in there. Looks like that was the timeout call. We see Sverka, probably a pretty high stall count to Graham, but Graham gets the bailout throw, and that's a goal for KFK, bringing us back to even at 6s.
Getting some score updates from Nemo over here of the EUF, of course, field right next to us. 7-6 for the UC battle, AUC versus MUC, and it's the Amsterdam UC ahead of the Munich UC at this point in time by 1. 7-6 just over there. That's still part of the newly distributed power pools before these final games to go. Nico Müller goes to Reinert and straight back to Mr. Müller. Olbert. And KFK stay in their flat fronting zone. And working through the middle. Now that one sent to Boyden-Müller. Michael Boyden-Müller looking backwards. Only to his brother, Holger, who centers to Hartmann. Hartmann keeps it wide for Müller and quickly distributed. Olbert there for the goal. It's a pretty tidy game after the first 2 points. First, was it maybe 1 or 2? There was a couple of bits of sloppy errors. There's been some turns since then, but it has really tidied up now. The offenses are getting away with what they need to be doing, particularly Bad Skid, but both teams are really tidying up, aren't they?
Absolutely. I think that Bad Skid's offenses are looking a little easier than KFK's. KFK gets into trickier situations on higher stall counts. We see Nico Müller. What a fast release on that backhand. But yeah, in general, the shape that this game is taking is offensive efficiency, it looks like. And Bad Skid are definitely displaying a lot of that, a lot of patience, and really they're just putting their players in good positions to make it easy for them. Hoping to break for half here. Looks like they have, Bad Skid have not opted to load up this line. Not sure. I might have stacked it a little bit, thrown in one of the Boyden-Müllers, maybe Duscher.
Is it time yet?
I have to correct myself because I believe that Holger is on the line.
Yes. And Hartmann's come over as well. They have moved a little bit of their O-line to join the defensive ranks here. Ooh, and Holger was, you saw him up the speed there to try and chase, but it didn't matter. The pass went to Graham and now Miller. And then a bounce on the play. Hedda throws, floats it up, and the feeder down. There's the break for Alsale, and Bad Skid do what they need to do, taking half and depriving us of a Galaxy point as such.
How dare they?
They better win now.
That was an excellent read on the defensive side from Herrera. You can see that that professor has spent some time in the library. Miller with the disc here. Herrera coming in, keeps his head up and just bashes the disc away with 2 hands. Young has no chance at that, despite having the longer frame. And then he throws a nice little round. We'll call that the part bookends. Al-Saleh taps the foot down.
Partial bookends. First break of the game. A semi-loaded D-line. Holger's going to stay out there.
Batskid loading up the line again, having Holger staying out. Looks like a repeat of the same point. Most of the same personnel.
Pulling from the same side. How does that happen? Oh, yeah, right. Halftime. Mirror half from the start. So break timing was pretty good for them. Declan Miller goes to Furman. And then there's the under to Blanco. Blanco throws low, but Pellegrini happy to have a swim on the turf there. Graham hammers. Grammars. Oh, and bounced away by Hedda. And he celebrates with some double fist pumping action. Then jacks it. Holger Boynton Mueller under it and takes it from Graham, who shows some frustration. Thought he should have had it, but had he been able to sky Holger there, I would have been extremely impressed.
Batskid are rolling. I think that they found some nice defense right there. Header with an excellent heads-up D on the hammer. I don't know if he even touched the disc, but he definitely got his hands in the face of the receiver. And then an immediate deep shot, which was adventurous, perhaps a little speculative, but he knew who was going up. So you see the baby hammer over the top. Hedda did get a piece of that. Both KFK receivers unable to corral it.
Really just whiffed it, but that was enough, like a fingertip to it.
And Holger can add that to his collection of posters. And he even fakes the spike at the end. Just
yeah, fakes the spike. I mean, it's a great poster highlight because you see the frustration of the defender too. Graham thought he had it there, but Holger's been doing that for a long time. Skying the likes of anyone on European soil. There's the pull. KFK leaving that O-line out there, putting faith in them to steady the ship here. Sverke to Miller. Blanco. Middles to Pellegrini. Declan Miller thought about the windup and continues to take unders. Blanco to Graham. Graham back to Blanco. Batskid remain in match defense here. Furman fakes the windup and then goes back to Graham, who puts it deep. That looks like it's on point. It is. Sverke chases under, and a nice throw from the 18 shirt, Bastien Graham.
Little role reversal there. Graham to Sverke. Normally we'll see those players reversing with Sverke putting up the throws to Graham, but it's always good as a handler when your defender never expects you to go deep. So Graham clearly got a nice arm. Sizes up the throw. He sees, hey, Sverke's open. Somebody forgot about him. And puts that one on a platter to Sverke. So KFK steadying the ship here in the second half. We'll see what they can cook up on defense. They are loading up a little bit. They've brought in Miller. And this Batskid O-line, for the moment being, has been humming. They are not looking like they want to turn it over. They're very stingy with this disc.
And Batskid getting it going again. Let's see. Holger to Hartman. Looks good. Defense coming, but couldn't ever catch up. Hartman with the kick spike, and he had too much separation for KFK to do anything about it.
Batskid taking a page out of Copenhagen's book right there. KFK has their prime receiver throwing deep, and Batskid, hey, we can do that too. good set play from Bad Skid. Steph, what do we rate that spike?
I don't mind a kick spike like that. I'll give that that's right back up to 7.5. 7.5 out of 10.
And you were a generous grader of spikes. I'm going to say that that's maybe a 6.5. Solid.
I mean, 10% deviation. Come on, I'm not that generous. I gave it 2 earlier, remember?
If he'd added a twirl, I would have given him an 8.
I might have kick spike again if it's not aggressive. It doesn't bend the disc.
Hey, side line! Side line! No!
And that one sent deep. And nobody home except the defender.
Schau collects that one easily.
That one sent back by Hiller. Big shot, hangs up. Hiller trying to get around Graham, and he goes up early and prevents.
Graham forcing the misread out of Hiller. I really thought that Hiller would have had that.
Sveka to Parker. He wound up but did not deliver the backhand. Now a blade over top to Furman. He zips one. Pellegrini on the chase, and it's going to work. That brings things to 8-10.
Pellegrini getting pumped with his teammates, blowing a kiss to the camera.
Stoked about the speed he put on.
It was good defense from Bad Skid. And good offense, I think. Hiller just with a slight misread at the end. We see the zippy flick to Pellegrini. A near clap spike turnover, but Pellegrini held on to that long enough to make it look like he had control of it.
So getting news across from all the other regions. This one, hold yourselves steady to your chair. You might fall off. In the UK, in the Open Division, could you believe this one? Finalists, Chevron taking on Clapham. Yes, you can believe it. The same as the last 20 years.
With a 1-year deviation of last year.
Yes, yes, it's not the same as 20 years. Clapham have won it for 21 now, but Chevron is their usual opposition. Every now and again it deviates, but certainly not a surprise to hear that that will be the final. Holger Boyden-Mueller. Nico Mueller. Over the top goes to Steph Doscher. Leading throw, Hartman to Doscher. Back to Hartman. He looks to Holger, who's got space. Holger floats one up into the end zone. Nico Mueller does the rest. And Bad Skid respond 11-8.
Good offensive possession for Bad Skid. Nice looping flick around to Nico Mueller. Turns on the Jets just to finish that one off on the sideline. In other news from the women's division, I don't believe that we mentioned it, but Moon Cup in their first ever international event are going to the finals. They have punched their ticket to EUCF, so they will be joining the men from the Moon and will be one of the several clubs up there with BFD who will be representing on both women's and men's sides.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you get the Berlin, Jinx, Wall City will both be there. You get Yaka Isno expected to still be there, but they're still working hard to qualify in the South region. Sustained a couple universe point losses yesterday, so see how that pans out. But lots to pan out in the next 4 or 5 hours today. Many teams' fates will be unveiled. There's the dump throw. Now Furman. Furman swipes a faking forehand. Now inside, Parker's got to change direction and can't get back to where that disc lands. Picked up Reinert, and there is a contested, no, an injury called on the field based on the hand signals I'm reading. Yes, indeed. Hiller gonna take a sub because of the injury, and it's Nico Mueller is gonna come in for him. Let's see if KFK reciprocate.
Looks like there's some discussion about when the injury took place. Jonas Reinert was coming to the disc, but he's going to move back. There is still a turnover. Nico Mueller, not a bad injury substitution to put in.
Yeah, he's not really going to make any line weaker. And it'll be Nico Mueller coming to pick up. And
I am shocked, Steph.
just, I can tell how serious you are about that, Francis. Nico Mueller leads Reinert, and it's going to work. Nice throw, well weighted, and Reinert just had to run onto it and long jump the line there. Another one on the board for Bad Skid. That's 12-8.
And the dream of the 90s is still alive on this field because that is another 6-person vert stack from Bad Skid. See that isolation at the front of the stack. Excellent breaking fundamentals from Nico Mueller.
Holger Boytenmuller just checking in, making sure the scoreboards are working properly here. Of course, he's got full faith in what's going on. But, you heard it here first. ULTI.TV's the best, from the big man himself, Holger Boytenmuller. That man knows exactly what he's talking about.
Decked out in all Bad Skid gear today. Got his socks, shorts, and jersey. All he's missing is the hat.
Mouth guard. I want to see like a Bad Skid would work well with a nice mouth guard that emulates the missing front tooth. That would work well with the Bad Skid ensemble.
Would it have the Bad Skid crowbar on it?
Possibly, or just, yeah, the bad when you smile, showing on the upper choppers.
Maybe they can get some grills made custom.
That's next. We need a grill sponsor. Back in play here. KFK got their work cut out for him. Miller jacks one to the other end. Coman's under it, and the throw, an absolute perler out of the hands of Declan Miller.
Declan Miller, part of that Carleton College contingent, coming over, former Sockeye player, with a practice player this year. Probably because he looks like he won't be playing the U.S. Series if he's here in Europe.
Carleton contingent. Of course, that Wuzhen's into Carleton.
Wuzhen, Steph's version of word fusion.
Most of our listeners should know my version of word fusion. If you don't, well, get up to speed with your Wuzhing.
Coming into the final quarter of this half, you could say. Bats get up by 3 points. Their D-line has put in the work, and their O-line is just humming at this point. KFK is going to need to cook up something probably nothing short of a miracle at this point to rip the disc away from Bad Skid.
Yeah, I mean, O-line humming is the truest part. The D-line keeps working and churning, and they're coming up with the turns and the breaks they've needed, but the O-line has just not really been slowed down. Nico Mueller goes under to Holger Boyden-Mueller. Steph Dasha. Dasha up line to Olbert. Dasha loses his footing, but doesn't matter because Holger gives the upline cut, and again, they hum. Not much ability to slow down this Bad Skid O-line. They are just churning up the pitch.
Still getting it done through the big men too. I think that while everybody's touching the disc, it seems like the goals are going to the chosen few, you could say. Holger scored quite a few. Nico Mueller has thrown a ton. Michael Boyden-Mueller has scored a lot too. He's very good at his decisive cutting, especially in the end zone. He knows exactly the timing that's necessary. Little chat going on about the score. Looks like there's a difference between what we gave you guys and what is on the sideline, but what you see on the scoreboard is in fact correct. Well, let's see what they can cook up right here. Bad Skid want to close this out fast. 13-9. KFK, body language looking a little tired, looking a little desperate.
Come!
Sveka. To Furman. Furman jacks it. Miller on the chase. Hedda trying to find a way, and Hedda out duels Miller there and wins that battle to give Bad Skid the disc back. Break chance available. Hedda just pointing to the deep space. And he really wanted that big, but he put it away a couple times. Schall. Reinert. Hedda. Wind up, and he puts it. Schall on the chase. Is he going to get there? He is. The tumble after. And big break goal there for Bad Skid. They're one away, 14-9. They've been clinical in the second half.
Hera getting it done on the defensive line. He's been involved in the majority of the scores from the D-line. Got that D, and again, another partial bookends. Getting the D on Miller in the deep space, and then ripping it for the goal to Schall. Schall, of course, the brother of Charlotte Schall, the German women's player who took over in the European final in Limerick.
There's another brother then, because there was another brother that I recognized playing on that German national team as well. But I thought he was Jonathan, so now I've got some confusion. How many Schalls are there?
There might be Jonathan and Jonas. I think you're correct. There are at least 3 Schalls.
So Hartman handing off the pull. It's going to be Schantz who's going to rip it. And Bad Skid D-line could seal the deal here if they can generate one more turn and convert.
Disher crossing over as well.
Furman gonna watch that one go out and will allow Sveka to pick it up and bring it to the brick mark.
Looks like Bad Skid coming out in a poachy set against this cluster stack.
Yeah. Cluster something. Sveka. Easy dump. Nobody marking Furman. He goes to Graham. Interesting defense here as well. And the zip up the line. Miller's free now. Miller has Parker charging. Sveka's wide open. And it does eventually get to Sveka. Back to Graham. Timeout called by the Danes. They're going to think about this one. Game is not over quite yet. KFK extend it. They're going to think about it. We'll take a timeout break too, and we'll be back with you after a few more messages.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
And after the timeout, KFK ready to get things going. It's Graham with the disc in his hands.
I don't like that timeout call, and I think that I'm going to make my opinion known about that. That is a confusing timeout call. Graham didn't even have a mark on him. I think that you should call that timeout, if anything, after you score the point.
Graham fires. I thought he got all the way through to Pellegrini, but it's cut off by Comans and then knocked away while he looked for Pellegrini. Header. Chance to win for the Bad Skid. Big take there. Huge take by Shantz. He zips one to Dosher. Steph, Dasha. Surveys, goes back. And Olbert takes one, and there is a little bang up that will warrant a discussion. Olbert for the win, overthrows Dasha, but there's backup. And Hartman's the one there with the disc in hand. Hartman crosses defensive switch. Hartman does get it back. And straight back to Olbert, the two-player game, the wide shot. Shots, hangs on with a player on his hip. Fakes everything and then goes to Hartman. Now he hangs one up. Dasha thought it was for him, but not the intended receiver. Al-Saleh hangs on, and that is game. Bad Skid advance with the favorable game to go coming up next because of that win.
Great point from Bad Skid. Dusher's just blasting into that lane out of nowhere to get that D. And I'm sure that his teammates are going to thank him because that saves some legs on the O-line. Bad Skid wrapped this one up with offensive efficiency and some good defense to back them up.
Great second half from Bad Skid. Coming up next, back to the women's division, the game for third place, which is the last guaranteed game to go. The winner is guaranteed in. The loser still a chance. But that'll be Love versus Seagulls. That's next. Don't you go anywhere. Thanks for being with us. And before we go, a quick update. MUC up 14-9. They have out-UC'd Amsterdam. and are on the brink of victory over there. So all this action, check your scores, stay with us, like and subscribe. For Francis Dieterle, I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you very soon at the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.